Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to have another lecture, a video-based lecture on one of the important topic in physiology. Okay, so if you see the muscle physiology, okay, we are going to see the muscle physiology today. Okay, muscles which are present all over the body are the important responsible structure for all the movements we do. Okay, if you say movement, it is because of the muscles. If there is no muscle, there is no movement. Okay, now coming to the muscle, of course, when it goes to the muscle physiology, you will be studying how the muscles are contracting actually in order to produce the movement, how they are contracting. When they contract, how the fibers and the inside the fibers, what kind of chemical reactions, and how the filament sliding is taking place. All those things you will be studying. That is internal muscle physiology. And what we are going to discuss today is completely the external muscle physiology. That means how the muscles are working. From you look at it from the outside. What are the types in which the muscles are working? That's what we are going to see as an outline, because this has got more implications, more applications, implication and application in our physiotherapy profession. When you go into the next year, okay, second and third year and fourth years, you will be having a lot of input from this knowledge. Based on that, the various physiotherapy exercises are structured. Okay. Coming to the muscle work externally, there are basically three types of muscle works are there. Okay. The first one is isometric muscle work. This can be otherwise called as static muscle work. Okay, that's the first type. Isometric muscle work or static muscle work. Number two is isotonic muscle work. Number three is isokinetic muscle work. Okay, I repeat again. Isometric muscle work, otherwise called as static muscle work. Number two, isotonic muscle work. Number three, isokinetic muscle work. Now let us see one by one. First is isometric muscle work. From the name itself, we can identify iso means same or equal, that is the meaning. Metric means measurement. In the isometric muscle work, what happens? The muscle length, when it is contracting, it doesn't change. We all know the movements are produced because of the muscle work. When the muscle is contracting, there is a shortening or lengthening of the muscle will take place. Accordingly, the movements will take place. That's what is the general idea about the movement. But when it comes to the muscle work exactly, when it comes to isometric muscle work, the muscle develops the tension inside. It produces the force inside, but it doesn't change in its length. That means the origin and insertion point of the muscle does not move, does not pull together. Okay, it remains like that, but tension develops. Okay, so this is called isometric muscle work, otherwise called static muscle work. The length remains static. That's why it is called static muscle work. It is very important certain times when we stand, when we want to have more stability around the joint, the muscle should work isometrically. So at that time, around all the muscles around the joint, when they are working isometrically, the joint will have more stability. When you weight-bearing joints, okay, while standing, the knee joint, all the muscles around the knee joint will be working isometrically. So that it gives a lot of stability. When you carry more weight, it can bear that and provide stability for the body. Okay, that is what is the importance of isometric muscle work. Number two is called isotonic muscle work. Iso means we all know it is same or equal, that is the meaning. Tonic means tension. Isotonic muscle work. The two types of muscle works are there in that. Number one is concentric muscle work. Number two is eccentric muscle work. These are the subtypes of isotonic muscle work. What is isotonic? The muscle works, the tension develops the same, but the length differs. Either it can shorten or lengthen. When the muscle is contracting, developing the force inside, developing the tension remains as the muscles, the two ends, the origin and insertions are either pulled together. When they are pulled together, it is called concentric muscle work. Okay. The other type is eccentric muscle work. What is it? When the origin and insertions are from the contracted position, as they go beyond, go apart. Even at that time, the muscle is developing the tension, but still it is going apart, and this is called eccentric muscle work. So as the change in the length is taking place, the tension remains the same, but the length is differing. That is what we have to identify here. Okay, so this is called isotonic muscle work. Okay, let us give an example for this so that you can understand easily. When we climb up the staircase, when we climb up, actually what happens in the knee joint, when we put the step on the, when you put the foot on the step, what happens? The knee joint is flexed. And as you climb up, what happens? The knee joint is extending. When the knee joint is extending, there is a muscle called quadriceps is contracting. Because of the contraction, what happens? The knee joint is actually extending. It extends. As a result of that, you are getting up. Okay. At this point of example, you can look at the quadriceps muscle is actually contracting and shortening in its length. That means the insertion point is pulled towards, the insertion and the origin points are pulled towards, they are moving towards, so that the muscle is shortening and you are getting up. Okay, it happens on both the legs simultaneously. They're happening alternatively, so that you climb up the stairs one by one. So this is called, this is an example for concentric muscle work. Okay. Example for eccentric muscle work. When you climb down the stairs, the same quadriceps muscle works eccentrically. How? For example, when you put the foot on the lower step, what happens? Your knee joint is already extended. Now what happens? In order to bring your body down, your knee joint has to flex. So here the flexion is not taking place, not done by the flexors of the knee joint. It is done by the gravitational force. The gravitational force pulls your body down, but at the same time, the quadriceps muscle is developing the tension. It is holding your whole body, not giving up, not letting you to fall down. Okay, it is providing a fantastic stability and controlled motion at the knee joint. So the quadriceps muscle is actually contracting, developing the tension. At the same time, the origin and insertion points are going apart, so that the knee joint is slowly flexing, allowing the gravitational force to act on it. Okay, the muscle is extending but developing the tension, and your body comes down. Like that, alternatively, you do on every step so that you climb down. So this is called eccentric muscle work. So both in the concentric muscle work and eccentric muscle work, the muscles are developing the tension, they are creating the force, but only thing is the origin and insertion point, whether they are coming towards or going apart. Based on that, we actually classify whether it is concentric or eccentric muscle work. That's what about the isotonic muscle work. The isometric and isotonic are most commonly, we actually we deal with in physiotherapy. There is also another type that is not very commonly we apply it, but however in the sports, when we do the sports management, sports injury management, sports training, we use the other type that is called isokinetic muscle work. Iso means same, kinetic means force, amount of force produced by the muscle is called kinetic. So isokinetic means when the muscle is moving from the starting point to the ending point of the movement, the muscle produces same amount of force. This is called isokinetic muscle work. Naturally in our body, when we move a joint, the muscle does not produce the same amount of force throughout its range of motion. For example, this is my elbow joint and the elbow flexion I am doing. The elbow flexion is done by the elbow flexors are there. They are doing the movement. When I do the movement like this, what happens? This is a starting point to the ending point, at every range, the amount of force produced is different. Depending upon the angle of pull and the range of motion, it will be differing. Naturally, there is no joint, there is no muscle produces isokinetic motion when it is working. But we can mechanically, artificially, with the help of some mechanical devices, machines, we can make isokinetic motions in various joints in our body. That is called isokinetic muscle work. When it is possible, there are some advantage of doing isokinetic muscle work. The amount of, when you subject a muscle to do isokinetic muscle work with the help of a machine, we can improve the strength and power of the muscle very fastly, and also we can reach more the faster improvements and better improvements we can achieve. So it is used on the healthy individuals mostly to train the sports people in various sports activities. Okay, so this is so those kind of devices are called isokinetic machines, isokinetic devices we call them. So it's completely an artificial part of muscle work. However, this is also is possible. That's what you need to know now at this point of time. Okay, so altogether I summarize, there are three types of muscle work: isometric muscle work, isotonic muscle work, that has got two subtypes, which are concentric muscle work and eccentric muscle work, and the third type is isokinetic muscle work. Okay, that's all. And after watching this video, please summarize your points in a MS Word and send it to me. Okay, send so that as a token of your understanding, I would like to know about it. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.